Well, conversations happen all the time, right? You have probably been in a lift with a stranger and you just didn't know what to do. I mean, the only thing that made sense at the time was to just smile because, that is the best gesture to actually do at that time. But that is the whole reason of this podcast, to actually stir and start conversations in the lifts, to start conversations as you actually drive to work or drive back from work to home, or also just chilling with your friends and your family, just engaging on burning topics. And that is what I'm actually trying to bring out to you. Well, maybe not so burning that you need to call a fire brigade, but burning enough to just keep you glued and, just enjoying the topic. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lebogang Mitzileng, and yes, welcome to the first episode of Scene Speaks podcast. You're probably asking yourself, what is Scene Speaks podcast? What is this all about? Well, it's actually a straightforward podcast, but you will get to understand deeper as we move. What is it all about? Scene Speaks podcast. We actually focus on scenes. Scenes of a movie, scenes of a soapy, scenes of a reality show, maybe even scenes of documentaries. And we just want to find out, what does the scene get to say? What is the scene speaking about? And we actually engage on that. And we also try to find out if that part of the scene does speak some reality to our own lives. Well, I hope you will actually be enjoying this podcast, because the whole aim of the podcast is to actually just create conversations and just engage the community around you. So with that said, I would like for you to take this moment and watch this short scene. It's a scene that I took out from a soapy called Lingashoni. Lingashoni is a South African telenovela. It actually revolves around a black man who reclaims his life, after 10 years. But this scene doesn't actually focus on him. This is a scene that focuses on his in-laws, who are quite poverty-stricken. We get to obviously engage on some, poverty dynamics. But the most important parts that I would like for us to look into, or the themes that I'd like for us to speak into as we check this out, would be 1, black text; 2, the pain points of being the sole provider in the house, especially as, the child of the house. But you just happen to have won the bread for your family, but you are the one that you get dependent on. So I just want us to check this out. Come back. And it's a good night.
About poppy. Awusicabangi thina. Awusiboni nokusibona. Khona uJapan wabantu. Umntanami. Brother wakho bathu. Yazi uyakunika.
Ufundiswe yini ukuthatha ama-drugs? Manje waye mina kumele kube uSuperman wakhe. How many years mama siyinkinga ye-addiction yama-drugs kaJapan like hayi? Sispende imalini sizama ukumsava. Uyangena uyaphuma kuma-rehab. Singene kangaka ekolotini mama ngendaba kaJapan. Nginempilo yami nami kumele ngiphile. Angazi ukuthi ngiyophila nini mayenza so.
But askisi mntanami yazini. Ngizozama but as soon as uJapan.
Hayi ngeke phela. Mama. Japan this, Japan that. What about me? Mama ngizama ukukhuluma nawe, ngizama ukukutshela ukuthi ngizizwa kanjani ngama-feelings ami. Kumele ufake igama lakaJapan. That's why yenza so mama. Because uyazi ukuthi wena uzogijima every time amosha. Uzogijima umsave. Namanje mina kumele ngithengise isoli yami just for ukuthi uJapan aqhubeke aphile impilo ayiphilayo. Kumele ngithengise ngomzimba mama.
Poppy.
Mama yikho lento eshoyo. Ngikhathele mina mama ile family, like ngikhathele. Angisazi ukuthi ngenze njani. Ngimncane mama. Ni last born like her, mara sengumzali wakho.
Aski.
No mama nginakekela wena, nginakekela uJapan, ngingene kangaka. Ama responsibilities ayangisinda. Mama ugcine nini ukungitshela ukuthi uyangithanda?
That's how I also felt. I knew you'd also feel that way. But I think before I get to dissect the scene, I actually just need you to read this definition below. This defines what black text is. I need you to read it now. Louder. Louder, ma'am. Yes. Thank you. With that said, because this is a podcast that also seeks to educate, I'm glad that you now know what black text is. But anyway, what did we just see? From the scene above, we see two characters from Lingashoni, right? We see a mother and we see a daughter. So she's not the firstborn child, but she is the one that happened to win the bread for the family, like I've highlighted. And they actually have a bit of a situation. And this is a situation that is quite, popular within our own communities, especially if you are also from Ikasi. You would know that we have a lot of young black boys that have been trapped in this drug community. They are trapped in this world of addiction, especially drug-related addictions. So they actually have to take this young brother to the rehab, right? And the conversation that is happening between the mother and the daughter, for the first time, this girl stands up for herself. She obviously does it for me in such a way that she's quite frustrated. She's speaking from a point of frustration, which would speak to, we never want to engage about the frustrations of being the one that won the bread, and also having to be the one that must also be selfless. Because in you having been the one that at least has the little to sustain the family, you end up carrying the burden of everything. You end up inviting everything to you, because I think there is also this mindset that when you do have the bread, or you won the bread for the family, you are able in all ways possible, and there's no situation that you cannot assist the family with, especially from a financial point of view. And let's say yes, there's no situation that you can't handle from a financial point of view. Nobody wants to also focus on the impacts that has for the one that won the bread, because there is also so much emotional encounters that one has to go through during that time, which we never get to actually speak about. And we see in this scene the frustration that this young woman has, and she actually starts to voice it out, to tell her that it has even came to a point where she feels like her mom doesn't necessarily love her, and that she has turned out to be the adult in the house. Choo! That was a painful one, but that's the truth. And I think that's the truth that we don't get to speak about, because it looks like it's okay to win the bread and assist others and end up not being selfish. I understand that I want the bread for our family, but you don't understand how it feels to be me at this point. This young girl is trying to express her emotions to her mother about this entire situation. And not just this situation alone, but to just say she has been taking care of everyone to a point that she feels the roles have changed. And I believe that a lot of young people who are in the same situation like her feel the same way. And I think also, especially in a case where you are the only one. Jonga sana, you are the only one. Kutwa boroto bufedile, you are the main point. Kutwa ini, like jonga sana, I'm not talking about I have 5 brothers. My brother is so we help each other. I'm talking about in this situation, this young girl does not have that luxury. If we want to, it's a luxury for this situation. Maybe it might not be a luxury, but if you look at this one, it is. And so she voiced it out to her mom. Just a quick question. How many homes actually have roles changed? How many homes have roles that are changed? Switched because you want the bread. And I know it doesn't apply to every family, because sometimes you could be the one that won the bread and roles haven't changed. Your mom is still able to be a mother and is still able to show up as a mother, and not want to coerce you into situations that might not be good to you. And I speak that because if you take this time and go watch the entire episode, which I will let you know what episode it was, you will learn that this parent is actually coercing this girl to actually become a stripper in the same club so that she can have more money, and that more money that will be made would be the money that will contribute to the rehab. So not only this mother, not only having roles being switched, they are switched also in such a way that this girl needs to be selfless to a point that she takes, a job that she would never want to have or do. And that's why that whole emotion, that's why that whole frustration gets to be communicated. No, arguing about the truth in the story.